Hello, my name is Alex, and if you think about buying Tesla stock, but you're not sure whether it's a good price or not, and what is a good price actually, do you think that Tesla is overpriced? Do you think that market capitalization for Tesla today is way too big? Well, we will see. If you want the short answer, wait for it. That's the question everybody's asking, well, everybody who wants to buy a Tesla, of course. Do you like Tesla company? So after watching this video, you will have an answer whether Tesla is overpriced, whether you need to buy it, should you be in a hurry or just wait a bit. Well, let's see. Let's just briefly start with a brief history of Tesla. From this point in time, it starts to grow, and that became new normal. I mean, Tesla started trading in around $200 to $300 in average, and everybody was saying, yeah, its stock is overpriced, and but now when you look what's happened last year in 2019 to 2020, Tesla just skyrocketed, right? In a matter of a couple months, just went from 200 until 900 on the top. Wow, that's a huge growth. And then it crashed. What happened? Well, yeah, probably was overhyped, but at that point in time, market decline started. So of course we saw the huge decline, like from 900 something to $360. But see what happens next, up until 860, almost the same height in this 3 weeks or so. That's insane. If you're not a risky investment and you don't want to invest in one company, take consideration to invest in ETF. If you don't know what ETF is, please check out my video. Now, let's assume that Tesla is a simple car manufacturer company. So to answer this question, whether Tesla is overpriced, let's just see some numbers here in comparison with other vehicle manufacturer companies. If you take a look at Ford, for example, which is a well-known brand, and for a long time it was #1 in top-selling cars, the market cap is $21 billion. Now, General Motors is well-known worldwide vehicle manufacturer company, and General Motors has $32 billion market capitalization today. Daimler, which is known better for the company who produces Mercedes, so Daimler has market cap similar to General Motors, $33 billion. Yeah, so Volkswagen market cap today is $60 billion. Who is next? Tesla. Tesla's market capitalization is $140 billion approximately. So Tesla is actually today #2 by market capitalization car manufacturer. The only traditional car manufacturer who has market capitalization more than Tesla is Toyota. Toyota today is around $200 billion of market capitalization. To have more in perspective, let's just compare some numbers and why everybody says it's overpriced. But let's see for today what the income statement are for those companies, and this will help us kind of to better position Tesla around other car manufacturers. We see that Ford is $150 billion of revenue in 2019. By the way, all numbers are for December 31st of 2019. So Ford reported $150 billion of revenues for that year, where General Motors reported 130, slightly less. We see Daimler reported $172 billion and Volkswagen 252, whereas Toyota, of course, 300 is the biggest one. So looking at just those numbers, Tesla is only 24, which is, well, if you look at Volkswagen, for example, Volkswagen did 10 times more in sales than Tesla, and still it's only half of Tesla's valuation, which would kind of bring us to gap of 20 times Tesla is overpriced if we are just taking this in consideration, if we're just comparing Tesla as a car manufacturer to another car manufacturer. Now, if you look at net income, Ford did 0 basically, General Motors was around 5%, Volkswagen did 5%, Toyota did 6%, and well, Tesla did a negative 3%. Net income is one way to evaluate companies, but to better evaluate any company and how the core business does, there is an indicator, EBITDA, which stands for earnings before taxes, depreciation, amortization, and interests. Why it is important? EBITDA shows the company profitability. Ford did 5%, General Motors 17%, that's huge, that's a really nice number. We see that Volkswagen is the best here with EBITDA around 18%. And well, Tesla. Tesla did 8%, which is not that bad, it's much better than Ford, but still, it doesn't explain us why Tesla is so overpriced, why this market cap. Now, look at those numbers, conclusion is obvious. Tesla is overpriced. Well, yes and no, because if Tesla is considered a simple car manufacturer, that kind of leads us to the next point. The bigger market capitalization and price-earning ratio, the more expectation of future incomes there are on the market. And we don't really expect Ford or General Motors or Toyota to have huge growth from here on out. But what we expect is that Tesla with electrical vehicles, the way they did them today, which can be compared to an iPhone's Apple, but more on this later, can Tesla take those market shares from other companies? And why do we even have to switch on electric vehicles since oil is too cheap right now? Can other manufacturers become electrical vehicle manufacturers? Talking about innovations, Tesla is number one, and let's see why. If you have Tesla, smash that like button. But take into consideration now that Tesla is not only a car manufacturer company. Tesla has full line of electrical vehicles, Model S, Model 3, Model Y, Model X, and truck is coming there, and then we will see big trucks of Tesla in future. And this is only a part that actually is working. Tesla is signing patents for innovation in battery area. But of course, there are other companies you need to invest in. And for this, you can check Warren Buffett stocks. I have a video for this. He has tremendous opportunity stocks right now. And also, there are some pretty interesting oil stocks in this video up here. One day, Tesla will increase the battery capacity, which will exceed far more than traditional car. At the same time, it will cost approximately the same amount of money than for a traditional car, with all the advantages of electrical car. But let's go with other Tesla products. Tesla is much more than a car manufacturer. Tesla is a mobility solution provider. Tesla is energy solution provider. And combining all together, it creates an interesting mix, because energy and mobility, it's a wide area of applications. For example, Tesla's next product is sunroof, and sunroof, which Tesla claims that as solid as ordinary roof, but even the price is almost the same. But this roof is actually generates energy for you, and you earn money with it every day, and you have your electricity for free, of course. It goes with all easy to handle, applications where you see each day how roof is doing, how your budget is doing. This is a killer, and there is no other competitor in here. Tesla does also everything that's related with energy, solar panels, batteries. So Tesla owns and created a gigafactory, not one. To my knowledge, we have 3 gigafactories today. Another gigafactory is in process of construction. Right, look at those graphs. Tesla is one of the leading manufacturers of batteries in the world, and as of today and as of future 5 years, they have the lead on battery production, which allowed them to produce around 24 million vehicles. So to answer a previous question about whether traditional companies can produce electrical vehicles, yes, they can. But the question is here, how many vehicles will they be able to produce? Because Tesla is basically the only car manufacturer today which have the potential and the possibility to produce around that number of vehicles. 24 million is a big number. And if other companies want to produce an electric vehicle car, they need a battery. And basically the battery in an electrical vehicle is, well, in terms of price, it's pretty much depends on the vehicle, but yeah, it can be up to 50% of the cost of the total vehicle. This is the main element, I would say, in the electrical vehicle. To be able to produce that number of vehicles to fulfill the demand and keep their market shares, traditional manufacturer companies need to have this battery somewhere. So unless other battery builders will be able to share with them, Tesla can sell those batteries as well. They can use as a competitive advantage in the future. It all starts with energy, and that's where the Tesla is pretty good at. And then once you have this energy, you can apply it into different things, like vehicles, or supplying energy to your home, or anything else. But you have to start with energy first. And you see in this graph, you have LG Chem, basically one of the biggest producers of batteries as well. And if you take a look at what is the market cap for LG Chem, you'll see it's around $20 billion. So you can add this to a market cap. Another application that Tesla is actively working today, and this is a killing feature for any taxi or mobility service is autopilot. And autopilot is something that will come one day. And Tesla have a huge advantage of other companies, since Tesla was one of the first companies to invest in this and heavily invest. And now Tesla has a big number of fleet, and each feeds this information to a huge brain, if you want, which using machine learning makes this autopilot works better and better. So now we're not only in car manufacturer. If Tesla wants to make its cars to work as a robotaxi, here you go. If Tesla is to replace Uber and Lyft, what is the market cap that we can estimate Tesla being added to? Uber is around $50 billion today and Lyft is around 10, but Tesla can easily take that part of the pie. By this we can add another 50 billion to market capitalization of Tesla. We kind of coming closer to what Tesla market cap is today. The only problem it's somewhere in the future, not right now. Yes, you will say. Of course it is. Can Tesla repeat Amazon's and Apple's path? If you look at Apple stock, it's pretty amazing. iPhone can be compared to Tesla Model 3. When iPhone appeared first in 2007, Apple went up all this way a few years after iPhone was released. Now look at the similar situation with Model 3, and it took quite a few time for Apple to really start. It took a few years to start, but once it started, it just skyrocketed. Now Tesla is like Apple 10 years ago, in my opinion, right now, because we have a product that just have no other real competitor on the market. Even though for iPhone it was easy to reproduce something similar for Samsung, for example, to do an electric vehicle you at least need a battery, a big battery, and that's a huge entry barrier because you need to have economy of scale, and for this you need to build gigafactories. I'm not aware of any other car manufacturer already started doing this. And Tesla is like Apple, is vertical integrated. Tesla owns all of the stages of its production cycle, and that's marvelous. The same as Apple. Apple is not just selling you MacBook Pro or iPhone. Apple is the whole ecosystem with software in it. So is Tesla. Tesla is not only car, is not only battery. Tesla is the high-end software company. It is competing with car manufacturers and doing this really well. And it's creating its own network of charging stations. And it's also creating the energy supplier like a gigafactories. And it's also creating an autopilot. And it's also creating energy roofs. Because Tesla is ahead of any competition, I would say yes, Apple is likely scenario for Tesla. I mean, Tesla becomes as valuable as Apple or Amazon in that matter because they have this thinking, I should be ahead, and that's why Tesla is so promising today. To answer this question, whether Tesla is overpriced, yes. If we're looking in short-term period right now, there's a lot of expectations of Tesla to be profitable in the future. That's why we have this overpriced thing happening. But if you look at long-term, chances are high that Tesla will have a huge growth and will have a tenfold increase. There are some scenarios that predict, Tesla going up to 12,000 or even 36,000. I saw even at the peak of the hype of all time, it will be $50-something thousand per share worth of Tesla. But I don't really believe in this because it means that Tesla market capitalization is around $5 to $6 trillion. So you understand, recently Apple, Microsoft, Amazon hit $1 trillion mark, and this is insane. But now saying that one company will be worth $5 trillion 10 years from now, it's very unlikely. But what is likely to me, Tesla having at least $1 trillion, which means 5 to 7 or 10-fold increase from where we are. If you go 10 years from now and saying that any company could be worth $1 trillion, well, that was unimaginable, I would say. Because of what is happening in the world and probably because of Fed is printing money. Do you own Tesla? Yes, I do. Now, if I am to share my personal opinion about Tesla, yes, I own Tesla. I bought recently one with a price of $777 per share, which is not an ideal price to enter it. I think it will go down. Yes, I do believe in Tesla. I think that even with current price, in 5 years, 10 years from now, that will be fine. I'm not against taking a risk when it's calculated. Let me know what you think about Tesla and all the situation. Do you think where it's overpriced or not for you? Depends on your investment horizon. If you have Tesla, smash that like button. Or if you think about having Tesla, smash that like button as well. Please subscribe. I'm having finance related video each week. It will not only be about stocks, but also about personal wealth and about investing in general. Don't forget, I'm just sharing my personal story and sharing what I found and why I am buying this stock or not. And that's it. See you next week.